Hey guys, welcome to the Market Hangover podcast.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today?
So today I thought it would be really cool for us to jump on and just have like a really authentic market hangover chat.
Okay.
We're going to call this our chats. And let's just talk about like anything and everything that we dive into. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
We just finished up our two markets in February, and we were sitting down again and talking, and we were like, why don't we have our mics on or something? Because this is the chat. This is it. This is the podcast.
Yeah. For those of you who are jumping in right now, and this is their first episode, a market hangover is basically after the market when we sit down and just unload everything. So this is it. We're gonna try to recreate it.
Yeah.
Right now.
Hopefully we do an okay job about it.
Yeah, I think we'll do
an okay job about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfiltered, unedited.
I love it.
Okay, so I thought it would be really great to let's talk about markets from like beginning to end.
Okay.
Where does it start?
It starts with probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but probably the venue. You need a venue.
Venue selection. Yeah, I guess so. Mm-hmm. How do you choose a venue as a vendor?
Ooh.
That's a really good question. We actually get that question a lot.
Guys, if you want to let us know in the comments of how you choose
your venues,
yeah. That would be great. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, I call them newbies, a lot of our new smaller businesses that come out want to be a part of the market. And before they sign up, they will message me and say, like, what location is best suited for my business? Where should I be? Should I be at this venue or that one with you? And there's no right or wrong answer there. Unfortunately, it's not like a clear-cut thing.
Yeah.
It depends greatly on where you're located as a business. Like, we mostly focus out of Peel region. But if you are like Central Brampton or Central Mississauga, you might want to consider doing somewhere closer to your home base first to start out instead of like branching out too far, right? That's an option.
Okay.
And you just have to kind of consider too where your audience is. And as a new business, you might not know that yet. So it might be some trial and error, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like a touring band. They start local.
Yeah. No, that's a really great analogy though.
Yeah.
And you know a little bit about that.
Yeah, a little bit.
You have to build up your base, and that takes time. So another good thing to note is that when you're starting out as a new business in the market scene, like you're not just going to find this like magical group of people that discovered you and are going to follow you forever. Like, you need to build that. You need to start building those relationships in those areas.
Right.
Right? You can't go from being strictly an online business, as a starter and expect everyone to know you're already online. Like, you got to put the effort in and the work in to advertise and to share your information in different forums and get people following you. Mm-hmm. So that's something definitely to keep in mind when you're coming into a market and when you're trying to select a venue, right? It's location.
Location.
There's different types of venues too, right?
Definitely. Well, there's farms, there's malls, there's community centers,
We've done quite a few different ones too.
Yeah.
Well, that allows us within our region. Like, there are some locations that I see in different areas that are like so cool.
Yeah.
Some people I've seen pop up ads. Wineries. We've done a brewery before.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool. It was different for us.
Yeah.
Definitely a different like backdrop, which was kind of neat. Like, you had all the barrels and stuff.
Yeah.
We do a lot of malls.
There was a Santa there, I think.
There was a Santa there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was cool. It was very cool. We've done farms quite a few times, a couple years back. And that's the other thing you need to look at it. Are you going to be indoors or are you going to be outdoors?
Yeah.
Some small businesses can't do outdoor markets. Why? Their product, depending on what their product is. The elements could really take a toll. Candles, for example. you can't put candles in the sun; they will melt. And so some businesses come out, and I mean, that's not to say you can't do outdoor markets, but you definitely need a tent if you're gonna be a candle vendor outside, right?
Yeah, you can't be like sun tanning them or whatever.
Yeah. Same with flowers. Same with flowers. You don't want, I mean, not natural flowers, but like preserved flowers.
Okay.
You don't want those in the sun either because it can damage them.
Right.
So definitely it's worth taking into consideration like what your product is before choosing a venue. Also, are you going to be indoors and outdoors?
Yeah, and I guess that brings us to like the next thing is like setup. So we've got the venue. Well, maybe not.
I think application is probably in the front there, like in one of the first.
Yeah. Yeah.
areas.
Well, yeah. I'm jumping a little bit, I guess.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It's a chat.
It's a chat.
It's a chat. Let's talk about setup.
All right, let's talk about setup. Do you need a tent? Are we outside right now? Where are we?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Anywhere. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Let's start with outside.
outside. So
yeah, and you've done a lot of our outside
setup.
setups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that one time we were out. Like, let's talk about outside pavement versus outside farmland.
Okay. Well, you definitely, if you're going to be on the pavement and you're outside and you're required to bring a tent, you're going to need tent weights.
A ton of tent weights.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring one. What do you think about those sandbags and those water bags that come with the tents? There's so many different types of tents out there.
I mean, as long as whatever works. I mean,
does it work though? Do those things work? Because I always see, like, I see some people bring them out. I don't know if I would trust them. Because you have people literally bringing cinder blocks
yeah, that's
to
true.
hold their tents down.
That works.
So when you look
guys.
at a cinder block versus like a bag filled with water or sand, I'm kind of like,
Well, how heavy is the bag?
they're usually like just these little things that go around the poles. I
don't know. So the 10 weights that we used, and none of them like failed on us. They're 5 pounds each.
Okay.
And we have 4 of them on the corners.
But we haven't set up our tents on a very windy market day.
One time.
One time. Did they hold up?
They were
Really?
still there.
Okay.
But that was not on pavement.
Thank you. Yes. I've heard anecdotes of like people coming back from a market day like with their hair everywhere, like they had just been through a tornado because their tents were literally picked up off the ground. Ooh. They were set up on pavement. It didn't matter how many weights they had, like that tent was gone.
But okay, let's say it's windy like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be having a market. Pack up your things and go because
then your stuff gets damaged and you can't, and like, I mean.
Yeah. And I think at every market too, like the director will make the call. They're on site. They should be on site. And they make that call. Is this too windy for us to have a proper setup? Are we putting ourselves in danger? Are we putting our products in danger? Are we putting the people shopping in danger of our flying tents?
Well, yeah. I mean, tents should never go flying because especially on grass, you've got like the
pegs. The pegs really help.
And then you put the weights.
But on a pavement thing, there's no getting around it, I think.
On the pavement, it's just weights.
So another kind of step I think that directors take before deciding to like shut down a market for wind and being outside is, once we see the winds are picking up, we kind of tell people to like take down your tents. Just take them down. They become more of a hazard than anything else.
Yeah.
And then
now if you have candles and it's sunny and windy, what do you do?
You pack it up. I think a lot of small businesses try their best to stay out for as long as possible because especially if there's still people coming through, like it's a great opportunity to stick it out and try and sell your product. But you have to weigh the pros and the cons, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Every situation is going to be a little different. Mm-hmm. And I think in our minds, we kind of know where our limits are. Like, is our stuff falling and flying in mud? Like, are our products tipping over and breaking? Are our displays tipping over? Is it not worth it for us because of the elements? Like, I've had some vendors it'll just be like a really beautiful sunny day and like maybe just a gust comes by and they're like, nope, gotta pack it up. I'm leaving. Like this isn't good for my product, or, it's too sunny, but it doesn't warrant like a pack up just yet because the elements aren't that bad. So you really have to like take a look at the situation as a whole, and don't get scared off too quickly. Because weather situations change. For example,
yes.
Remember that one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Everyone was like.
So we were at the farm.
Yeah, the farm.
And that's where our market was set up.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a rainy day. Mm-hmm. Markets can happen in the rain still. Lots of them do, rain or shine. You have your tent. Because it's muddy there too, a lot of vendors too will put down like a mat, like a big outdoor mat so people, when they walk into their tent, they're not like stepping in mud and that sort of thing. I always love that tip.
Yeah.
Bring a mat, go to Costco, get a really nice outdoor mat.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it was a rainy day. Take it away.
Well, people were like running by basically. And no one was really shopping because the weather, I guess.
Well, they were going to do their berry picking first.
Yeah, there was berry picking. Like you had to walk kind of through the market, and then the berries were like in the back. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the market, everybody. I'm just so excited.
Jumping. Yeah. Everybody was like, "It's raining. Nobody's here. We're gonna leave." Like, it's time to go.
Like, would you say half?
More than half. Everybody left except for literally three vendors.
3 vendors, yeah.
And they were like, you know what? It's a drizzle. We're outside.
We're here anyway.
We're here anyway. We're just going to hang out. And we were like, yeah, okay.
And then when they were done berry picking,
everybody came back and it was still pouring. And basically those last 3 vendors that were left, like, sold out of everything.
Yeah.
Everyone came shopping.
Yeah, everyone, I guess they were like, okay, let's do berry picking, and on the walk back, we'll
do our stuff
do
then.
our shopping,
yeah. And so many of them, too, were like, where did everyone else go? We were like, it's raining,
a lot of the customers were like, oh, did this person leave?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, I mean, it goes to say that, like, sometimes if it's raining, like, if your product's okay, if you're in a tent, like, it's okay to have a market still. Like, don't be afraid of the elements. Mm-hmm. You might get a really good turnout still.
For sure. And just being out there, I mean, is good.
Yes. You might not, maybe this is like another topic I'm going to hit up. We're kind of like blending them in, but even, I know everybody wants to come out and get sales. Like, that is the point. That is your goal. You're trying to promote your business. You're trying to sell your product, whatever it may be. But this goes for service-based businesses too. Like, sometimes coming out to a market is just as simple as promoting yourself and getting your name out there and getting your logo out there so people see it. Right. And that's just like another element of marketing. So a lot of people focus on the selling part, which I totally get. That is what will help them survive and continue with their business. However, you should never look at an experience where there wasn't as many shoppers that day, or you didn't make as many sales as you wanted to, as a bad experience, because you were still out there promoting yourself, promoting your business, and talking to people. As long as you were doing those things, there's somebody out there who saw your logo and is going to remember you next time they want to buy that particular product. Yeah. Because they know you're local in a small shop. Or there's somebody out there who knows a friend who was looking for something like that, and they went home to go tell them about it, or maybe picked up your card. So not every sale happens that day, but that's not to say that when you get home, because we've had vendors tell us this too, they got home and they had 3 orders from online. Right. And it's because they saw them at the market, but they just didn't have the time to stop, or it was a bad day for them, or they weren't sure like what item they were going to decide on yet, because a lot of consumers now are doing their research. They want to think about what they buy first. They want to take some time to decide, if they want the big one or the small one or this color or that color. They kind of want to like know a little bit more about your business first to see what your practices are. And so these types of things take time. And so it's not always that impulse buy right away.
Very good.
We just jumped. We just jumped from like venues to like tent outdoor setups to like.
Well, it's the Hangover, you know.
Yeah.
You just go. But if you want to go back to setup.
Let's do it because we talked about outside, so maybe we talk a little bit about inside.
About inside?
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, inside is more,
cozy and warm and dry.
You have less to worry about.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
A lot of our venues, which is really great for inside setup, is they provide the tables and chairs. So if you're a new vendor looking to come out to a market, it's very helpful, I think, to find a market that's happening that is providing you with your table and your chair.
One less thing to carry.
One less thing to carry and one less thing to buy right away.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just, I can just imagine like so much easier just to bring your product with you, set your box down or your bags down and like just set up and call it a day, you know? Like that's your setup. That's awesome. We do have people come in though with massive racks and display, like custom displays people have. There's so many different ways to set up a table. Maybe we talk about that.
Well, I think that's important because I think the way you display stuff really matters. Mm-hmm. I think when someone walks by and they see a beautiful table, they're going to stop and they're going to look, right? So
it's going to attract them.
Yeah, for sure.
So what makes a table beautiful? What attracts people to a table?
Different things.
Well, so I would say that like 90% of shoppers are women, but you're a man. So let's talk about the man's perspective a little bit here. If you're walking around a market and you see a bunch of tables, like what is going to make you stop? What has made you stop in the past?
What has made me stop in the past? I mean,
food.
Food. Well, food's easy. Yeah, food if it smells good. But yeah, I don't need my eyes there though. But something that catches my eye. I mean, something different for sure. Something unique.
What's something you've seen that's different?
There was this like custom wood shop, and they have like this huge like display behind them.
Okay.
And then they have like basically like it just shows like what they can do, and then like all that stuff's like really just
custom.
And it's just like eye catching, and you look at it, but then it's like their main business was like, yeah, we can make whatever you want.
Should we name drop? Are we gonna plug some small businesses here? Should we?
I mean, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, why not?
I know what you're talking about.
Go ahead. And let's see if you're correct.
We should play this game more often.
We should, yeah.
I think you're talking about Blue Ciel.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, yeah.
Shout out to Blue Ciel.
Hey.
They have, so they do customizations, wood laser cutting. I think they can cut some other products as well, but I won't describe them too much because maybe one day we'll have them on the show and they can tell us a little bit more in detail about what they do.
We should.
But this is a great point. Some businesses are focused on customizations. So like, what do you do with that, right? Like, how do you bring that to a market if everything is custom? And what they do is they have this amazing setup in the back where they just display all the different pieces that they can do.
And they even have
table too,
like a little table for like kids that come by, and they have like custom made like puzzles and stuff,
yeah.
and like it's interactive as well.
Yes.
I think interactive is huge.
Yes.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's a big element. If you have something that can engage people to stay longer in your space, then that's a great pull. You need a pull sometimes.
I did see one time, and it was impressive. It was people would walk by, and then it would have nothing to do with what his product was, but he'd be like, hey, like, can you tell me how much is in this jar? Like, how much money's in this jar?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it would just bring people, and they all of a sudden, like, that icebreaker's done.
Yeah.
And then...
It's a conversation starter.
Yeah, it was then good.
That's another really great point about, like, just being there to promote yourself and your business. You have to be willing to stand up and have conversations with people, like random people. Just talk to them.
Yeah.
And finding an icebreaker, like, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great...
So set up, icebreakers, all very important.
Yes.
And
I mean, aesthetic is great too, right? Like you obviously want your table to be beautiful and eye-catching. You can use things like sparkly tablecloths or just like, I don't know, flowers and stuff. Like I've seen people decorate their tables with like flowers. It depends what your product is a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, people like different things. So
Exactly.
But
yeah,
if you kind of look at your product and say, okay, I want my table to look like this, you're going to attract the people who also
are interested in it.
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure.
Something else to note is your space. So a lot of our area, because we're in like mall venues, the spaces are tighter, and we allot vendors a 6-foot table space.
Yeah.
Other areas you can allot like a 10 by 10 space, so you have a little bit more room to work with.
So you're thinking like have different setups?
Yeah,
different
so like
setups in mind?
We've had, I think it's Cozy Knits, for example. Like she really worked within the space she was given, as far as like putting little baskets out in front of the table, making it a different type of a display, making it a little bit more welcoming. She had like a carpet, and like she did knits, right? So she had like a carpet and a basket, and like almost like you would at home, you'd have your blankets in the basket. Yeah, and she even had like a dog bed, and she had like a stuffed dog on top of the bed to show that that's a dog bed. So it was a really kind of fun way to display her product.
Yeah.
And I love setups that are almost like you're at an exhibition where you walk into their space and you feel like you're walking into like a little mini store, or you're walking into their living room, or like there's a chair. It's not necessarily a table.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
For sure.
It's different. It's interactive, right? And those are the types of things, as a business coming out into a market space, you wanna try and make your space interesting.
And I'll also add, if you ever see something you like let's say you have a business, you see something you like it's okay to do that. Like you don't have to, you can take people's ideas and make it your own. I think that's important as well.
Yeah, well, it's, there's this conversation around, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not plagiarizing. It's not copying. It's not.
I think we know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's, it's one thing to look at somebody's setup and mimic exactly what it is, and it's another thing to just be inspired by the people around you
I think that's
to make it your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, to make something your own. Setups could be like, lots of people can put baskets in front of their tables.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
What you're putting in the basket is your own product.
Yes.
What type of basket it is, what it looks like, where it's positioned. Is it right in front of your table? Is it on the corner? Is it on the side? Is it on top? Like, these are different things that like you can change up.
For sure.
And, you're not copying. And that's the other thing that kind of like makes me think of markets too. It's some people walk into the space and think like, oh, these are all my competition. No. This is your community.
For sure.
And these are the people that you will learn from and grow from, and like learn from each other. And I think that's an important thing to note.
Yeah.
Because we're all doing the same thing here. And even if someone has a similar product as you, I've been in corporate marketing where I was in a position of community, and my company was all about collaborations.
Yeah.
Like, let's work together. We do something similar. Our product is slightly different, but we target the same people.
Yeah.
How can we do this together? And it was so much more powerful.
For sure.
Like we were able to reach larger amount of audience, of people wanting the same thing or the similar products that we had. And because we teamed up, it was that much better. And then I've been in corporate spaces in marketing too, where everyone's your enemy, and it was just a totally different environment.
Yeah.
And it wasn't successful. It just wasn't. Like, if you look at everybody around you and think, oh, like, I hate them, they do the same thing as me, or there is some level of competition when you're looking at like storefront spaces and where you pop up, but I always feel if you're able to collaborate with somebody, if their product is slightly different and you guys are targeting the same audience, like, team up. Find a way. It's so successful and it's so untapped. So many people don't do this.
Yeah, and I mean, you're selling empanadas, for example, and then you team up with some hot sauce company.
You want to plug them too?
Yeah, can you guess? Can you guess?
So yeah, there's just like there's so much room for partnership.
For sure. That's good. I like that. Partnership.
Partnership. And we see that sometimes when we're out there, right? And we go through the application process. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
The application process?
Yeah. How we choose our vendors and like how we don't choose this exact same ones, like.
I think it's definitely like a first come,
yes,
first serve for
element.
sure. Like whoever signs up first. And then it's good to have like some pictures on Instagram. If you're starting off, like I know it's harder to have like pictures of your product, but even if you just set up something.
We've taken personal accounts too.
Yeah, we've taken personal accounts.
Like some people are so new that like they don't have their socials up.
Yeah.
But they have personal socials and they have shared some of their things on their personal, and like they let us look at that.
Yeah, as long as you have like a picture of what it is, then we can.
We've also accepted people emailing pictures of their product.
Yes.
We just have to know what it looks like.
That's
because we need to know if we're bringing in something too similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we can't have every.
It's part of our mandate. Like there may be some overlap in products because like at one point scrunchies were the big thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we see all these trends, right? Like scrunchies were huge. We'd get like 50 scrunchie vendors. And there's some people who do it solely, like that's all they do. And then there's people who like will do a bunch of other things and then maybe have one or two on their table.
Right,
so
right.
That was big. Crystal beaded bracelets were big at one point, and candle vendors were big at one point. Like they go through this like flux and flow of like 20 of them apply to one market and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as we can just like check out and make sure it's like slightly different than the other person's offering, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it, I think.
That's basically it. So
for application, yeah.
we go through the apps. We try and provide a variety for the community.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like some diversity in product for our shoppers.
Yeah.
And then we want to make sure that every business who comes on board feels like they have the space to promote themselves and what they're selling. So with that being said, like we're not going to bring on 20 jewelry vendors and put them all in the same spot. We get a lot of jewelry vendors, let me tell you.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
You know, a lot of it is unique. I find like
Yes.
you can have like, I don't know, 7 jewelries that are like
So different.
One of them is clay, silver,
Gold, fine gold.
Just recently we saw the permanent jewelry pop up. That was cool.
That was really cool. There's a bunch of different
ones. So I'd say maybe at a market with like, let's say 25 vendors, usually in the list that we get in the applications, there's like at least 10 jewelry vendors wanting to join the market. So
they're always the first ones to apply. Too.
Yeah.
they get it. They know they have to be quick about it.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
But we can find at least 5 unique jewelry vendors.
Sure.
Handmade, like all different types of jewelry. And people love jewelry, so like why not, right?
Yeah.
Give the people what they want. Mm-hmm. And so I think we do a pretty good job of like spreading them out too and making sure like even though they're so different that they have their own breathing room in the market, and people walking by and looking have the opportunity to really like take a look at what they're offering and what they've made.
And that kind of brings us to, I guess, like floor plan and what goes into that, because, well, I'm not sure. Is floor plan?
I don't have any notes. Okay. I'm just rolling with
I saw you look at the papers. I was like, oh, wait, where do you want to go?
I was just thinking, like, do I have anything else to say about applications?
Oh, sorry. I jumped. But yeah.
Okay, you're moving the conversation along.
The floor plan, like, do you use electricity? Do you need different outlets? Do you, need more lighting in one spot? Like,
I
these
find
are all
it's
things.
mostly food vendors that need electricity.
Well, I mean, some people, to make their table unique, they like to have lights and they like to have flashing stuff, and and you need power for that, right? If there's battery powered.
Secretly, I think a lot of vendors just want the outlet to charge their phones.
Let us know.
And I don't blame you.
Let us know if that's true. Okay, in the comments, please let us know.
I do not blame you, but like it's just,
well, it's a long day.
it's not possible though all the time. Like I
like
think
a power
in our
bank.
I think in our or as like one of our vendors once said, you should charge money for people you should bring Wi-Fi and charge them to use that Wi-Fi during the market. But no, there's different setups for different locations, and some of them, like, we don't have that many outlets available to us. So we have to really be strategic in our floor plan of like who's going where, because that outlet is needed for something like food. And like to bring that vendor on board, it's required. And so somebody who wants to like charge their phone versus heat up their actual product, like, got to give it some preference, right?
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But floor plans, I've tried out a couple different ones. And you know what, bringing up floor plans, I would love to say to vendors, like, here's what our setup looks like. Pick your table. But how do you think that would go down? Because we've talked about this before. I think every market almost, it's like, because I've had markets where I'm like, okay, first come, first serve, and that's gone very well.
You could do it, but then what do you do if like two similar vendors show up at the same time, or like at the end,
Right.
and there's only two tables right beside each other?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I didn't have that problem too much. I think everyone was just so unique all the time, and I loved just getting there and being like, okay, this is the layout. Where do you want to be? And then people would pick and choose, and they were happy. Everyone was really happy about that. And if they came really late, they kind of understood, like, okay, maybe I'm not getting my first choice, but they still get control over it. And I think control is a big thing for small businesses coming out. It's like you don't always know what the setup's going to be, and you're nervous to begin with. You want to know that your setup is going to be okay. And a lot of people actually love coming out like the night before to do their setup because they're nervous. It gives them time to like relax and to feel good about their setup and their space, not feel so rushed. I get it. But to your point, sometimes vendors are a little similar, and we do want to give them that space. And that's why we don't give out the floor plan in advance, and that's why we don't let people pick and choose for most of the time.
And then if you get there, and then all of a sudden that outlet doesn't work, and you got to move a table, and then right, but then people have their floor plan, and they come, and then they're like, "But I was here," and then you're like, "Yeah, but the thing was broken, and I had to move you, and then you have to move."
It doesn't matter how many times I make a floor plan in advance. I am always moving tables the day of.
Yeah,
always. I mean, I will consider a successful market one that, like, if I come into the space and everyone is just happy with their table and I don't have to move anything. Mm-hmm. But that is so rare.
I do a lot of the moving.
Thank you for that.
I'm just gonna throw that in there. But yeah,
I think we do it though because we want to accommodate. We want people to be satisfied with their location. It's not always possible, but we do our best. And I think people see that. I hope they see that.
Yeah, we do our best.
Yeah. And it's not always easy, guys. Like, we'll submit on our little rants and raves after. But yeah, does that cover all our bases with floor plans?
I think so. I mean,
doesn't matter if they're like circled floor plans, squared floor plans.
Maybe we'll get someone in here that's like a floor plan expert.
I don't know if that person exists. Floor plan expert. What I've learned from other directors, I'm writing it down. What I learned from other directors is sometimes they make floor plans that create a traffic flow if they have the space too. So it's like people have to enter through the store, and to get from like point A to point B, they have to walk this way. So every vendor gets an opportunity to be walked by, because there's nothing worse than being at a market and getting like the back corner where nobody reaches,
you
right?
Just make a maze.
Yeah. I think one other thing that we can bring up about markets from like beginning to end is closing times and teardowns. Some markets are like a really great, like 4 or 5 hours. And I honestly think that's like the perfect amount of time. to host an event. But then other locations, again, like some of ours, are freaking 9 hours long. We're there all goddamn day.
That's how you really feel. No, yeah, it's long. It's small hours, right?
I feel like I have to say it with some expression because, like, it's long.
Yeah,
it's very long.
Yeah.
And we know this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pretend like it's not a big deal. Like, some people, you know, setup is early, and sometimes we don't have a lot of time to set up as well, depending on the location. And we stay there really late.
Yeah.
Bring a friend. That's my advice. Bring a friend. Take shift. Do shift work with your business if you can. Like, hire somebody for a couple hours. Not everyone can, but if you have family and friends, like, utilize them. Bring them out.
Yeah.
Help them work the table with you. Give yourself a break to have lunch. Ask your neighbor if they'll watch your table so you can run to the bathroom. It's a long day.
Ask one of us. Ask whoever's in charge too. They'll watch it. They usually watch it.
Yeah, but don't ask us to take money. Because I've had people say, I've had some friends of ours and some vendors be like, so here's the machine. Like, no, I'm not running your business. I'm not running your machine. It's a liability. What if I screw something up? Like, don't leave that to us. I will be happy to hand out your business card. I will be happy to tell people that you'll be back in a few, and just, make sure no one's picking up your stuff. But bring a friend. Get some support if you can. If you can. Not everyone can.
Lean on the people around though.
Yeah, and that brings me to babies, mommies and babies.
I've seen some new moms like.
Oh my God.
Stick it out till the end.
I don't know how. I know people who do this too. They bring their small babies to the market. I mean, God bless them. Good for them. They're getting out of the house. If you have an easy baby who's just like so chill and like.
Well, I mean, newborns are pretty chill, right?
I disagree. Not all of them. Everyone's different.
Okay.
I mean.
You know more than I do.
Our baby was very chill, but I couldn't do that. Still, like, I didn't think she was that chill. Like, I couldn't sit her down for long periods of time.
There's different types of people everywhere, right? Like, some people need to just move and go on.
You're saying that, like, I couldn't.
Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying.
It's really my problem.
No, but.
I couldn't do it.
No, that's not.
No, we did do it. We did bring our baby out to the market for like a full day. It was hard. I actually do what you can, but if you're a mom and you have a small business and you want to come out to a market, go for it. Like, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. I'd say come prepared. Check out the venue. Check out for your nursing rooms, your washrooms. Check out the change tables. Like, bring everything you need for baby. We were outdoor at a market, and I brought a tent so that I could nurse the baby in the tent. Because I needed that kind of privacy, and I wanted that space and, like, to lie her down and stuff, because she just she wouldn't lie down in the stroller for a sleep at that point. Like, it just wasn't happening for us.
That feels like so long ago.
I know. She's so big now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's really big.
I love her. I want her to be small forever, but I love the independence of her growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes things so much more obtainable and easier for me. And it's fun, too. We get to do some fun things now that we couldn't do before. Like, I can't even believe she's communicating as much as she is.
Yeah.
She's going to be 2, by the way.
She'll be on here soon.
No.
Just take her job.
She's the funniest, though, if we're going to, like, branch off into childcare and child stuff, which we probably shouldn't because it's all about markets. But just a side note, like, she will literally, I'll leave her with, like, one of our parents for babysitting. We'll go to the market. We'll come back. We don't like to bring her to the markets all the time because, like, she's a handful and we're working. We're working for you guys. But anyways, we'll go and pick her up and she'll literally tell us, like, what happened to her that day. She's so communicative.
I love that.
How do I say that?
Just say it like that.
Communicative.
Yeah. Well,
she'll like tell me if she fell. She'll tell me what she ate. She'll tell me if she watched TV, and then I'll look at them and be like, "Oh, so you let her watch movies all day, huh?" And they're like, "How did she tell you that?" And
she got caught.
She can't. She rats out her grandparents.
Yes.
But anyways, to wrap it up. Why don't we wrap it up? I think that's pretty much from like beginning to end our market.
Well, and then we go home.
We go home.
Then we have.
We're not drinkers, so we don't really pour ourselves a beer or a glass of wine, nothing like that. Like, I
No.
wish we were. It's so needed.
I mean, yeah.
I guess. No, but we do treat ourselves. How do we treat ourselves? Let them know.
We buy a nice dinner.
We buy dinner.
Yeah. We buy like a nice.
We eat out that day of the market.
I like steak.
Yeah, if we have the time to order it, we get ourselves a steak or something because it's a long, exhausting. We need to like replenish, especially if it's a 2 or 3 day market. Cooking and being in the kitchen after a whole day out is just like not obtainable. So
if you're at a market all weekend,
look forward to something good when you get home.
yeah, it's a
Treat
lot of work.
yourself.
Plus, you're like your job, then the market. Like, yeah, go get something to eat.
Make sure you're staying healthy and staying. What's the word?
Full.
No. Hydrated.
Drink. Bring a water bottle.
Bring a water bottle. We didn't talk about things to bring to a market, but maybe that should be on another
Or you know
chat.
what, guys? Tell us what you bring. Tell us what you bring to a market that you can't. Like, for whoever's doing markets already, tell us what you bring to a market
Yes.
in the comments below, and then
We'll put it into the next podcast.
the next episode we're just gonna.
If you tell us something ridiculous, we might just like pull you onto the podcast
Yeah,
too.
and if you want to come on and chat with us, we would love that. So please, email us. Email us?
Yeah, you can email us now.
What's the email?
The Market Hangover Podcast @gmail.com. I'm just remembering it as I'm going along.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.